Hello and welcome. In this video, I would like to take you over installing a WordPress testing server in your local computer. For this, we're going to use MAMP and of course, WordPress. Let's get started. I have already downloaded the MAMP, which is in beta at the time of this recording, and of course, WordPress. If you want to follow along, just pause the video and download both the MAMP beta and WordPress. If you're using a Mac, then the MAMP is not in beta. You can just go ahead and download the free version. There are two versions, MAMP and MAMP Pro. I am using MAMP. I am using a Windows system, so all I have to do is double-click the exe file. This warning appears, just click OK, and continue with the installation. By default, it's going to install into the root directory in your C drive. If you are on a Mac, it's going to install under the Applications folder. I will create a desktop icon, so this will remain checked. And now it goes through the installation process. Once it's done, you can click on Finish. And there you have it. We just installed MAMP. Let's go ahead and open it up. Here is the icon that it put on the desktop for me. I'm going to drag it to the Quick Launch bar. And that's just here. I'll put it right in here. And it pins it to the Task bar. If you're on a Mac, you can drag it to the Dock, and it would be the same thing. So now I'm going to click on the icon to start the program. And there it is. As you can see, it's already starting the Apache server, and now it just finished starting the MySQL server. At this point, I'm going to click on the Web Start button. And this opens in localhost. So it's just localhost/MAMP. How WordPress works is that it's a PHP rendering engine that works with a SQL database. What we are doing with MAMP is not only are we creating a web testing server, that would be the Apache, we're also creating the SQL database that WordPress is going to use. To create the database, I have to click on phpMyAdmin. And here we go. This is a brand new installation of the program, so any database that you see in here are the ones that are included with the installation. So I'm just going to click on the Databases tab, which is right here. And to create a new one, all I need to do is name it. I'm going to name it something unconventional. So for me to remember this, I'm going to open Notepad. On the Mac, that would be Text Edit. I'll open Notepad, and there you go. I'm going to type the name of the database in here. So database name. And I'm just going to name it in here first. And I'll call it Bluefin Dog. An unconventional name. I'm going to start it with a lowercase. Now, username, because I also need the username that will be able to manage this database. And I'll just name it DogFinBlue. To use these, I'm going to copy them. Notice I'm not going to type in, but copy them instead, because just one character that is not written exactly the same will fail the installation of the WordPress engine a little bit later on. So I'll double click to select the word and copy, Control-C on the Mac, Command-C, and paste it here, create, and there you go. It's that easy. We have just created a database. You can see it here in the sidebar. I'm going to single click on it, and now I'm going to click on Privileges. In here, I will have the opportunity to add a new user. And to do that, I'm just going to click on this button right here, and there you go. The username is DogFinBlue. I'm going to copy that and paste it here. So that is the username. Now we need to establish the host. The host is going to be local, because that's what we are creating. We are creating a local database and a local testing server for our WordPress site. There it is. In here, we can generate our password. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. Click on Generate. Now I'm going to copy those characters and paste them. on my Notepad document. I'm going to save this as WordPress info. I'll save it on the desktop. And there it is. Now, to continue with the creation of the user, all I have to do is click on OK. But I think I'm going to grant all privileges on the database and also global privileges. So I'm going to click where it says check all. And there it is. Everybody gets checked. And now I'll click on this Go button, which is on the bottom right-hand side of this panel. And there you go. I can select the Bluefin Dog database here on the side, go to Privileges, and you will see that Dogfin Blue, host, localhost, has all privileges granted. If by any reason you need to edit these privileges, like in here, it says database specific, but you can click on the Edit Privileges text. And now click on Grant, click on Go. And once you go back to this panel, you should see a yes. Database specific, yes, and there you go. So I just created the database and the user that can manage that database. I can now close this panel. I had downloaded WordPress before, so I'm going to go ahead and use this. All I have to do is copy this entire folder that says WordPress, right? So I copy the folder. It has inside these folders, WP admin, WP content, includes, etc., etc. So select this and copy, Control or Command C. Let's go to the C drive where I have my MAMP. If you are on a Mac, it's in your Applications folder. Double click. And I want to paste it on the htdocs folder. Paste it in here. You see other two documents in there, htdocs.txt and of course test.php. We don't need any of them, but they're not bothering us, so we don't need to delete them. And here we go. Double click the WordPress folder and right click the wp-config-sample.php file. Right click it, open with WordPad. And it's going to look like this. And here we go. We need to change a couple of things in here, which are going to connect this document to the database and username that we just created. So define DB name, database name here. We need to select these words, database name here, and replace them with the actual database name. So I'm going to copy the database name and paste it here, Bluefin Dog. Notice that I left the quotes in there. Now the username, where it says username here, and now the password, where it says password here, and paste. The DB name, Bluefin Dog, the DB user, Dogfin Blue, and the password, that series of characters. Going on, we don't need to change anything because this is a local testing server, so localhost is good. We will leave the universal characters, 8-bit, so that's UTF-8. And we are not going to change anything in the database collate type. Now we're going to add some salt. You can use salt a little bit later on to invalidate all cookies. So every single user will have to re-log in to your website. So for security reasons, every once in a while, you may want to do this. We can go and get salt directly from the WordPress.org website. So just copy this URL, which starts with HTTPS and it ends with salt/. Copy that and paste it onto a browser. Copy all of that text. Select this block of text in your notepad and paste. And now do a save as. So we're going to save it as a plain text document and we're going to name it wp-config.php. You can leave the TXT, click on Save, click on Yes, and now we can close this. Going back to our File Explorer, we can see in here where we have the wp-config.php, and we're ready now to install WordPress. To install WordPress, let's just go to the WP admin, and in here we should see install.php. To access this and do the installation, we have to use the web browser. Let's go ahead and open the web browser, type localhost, which is where our files are, /wp-admin/install.php, and if everything worked okay, you should see this panel. Welcome. This is going to aid us for the installation of WordPress. In here, we can type things like the site title. And we'll go ahead and type, "This is my first website." Now my username. Be careful with this one because you cannot change it later on. You can delete it and add a new user, but you cannot change this particular user. For the username, I'll use CatDogFinYellow. I'll copy that and put it in the WordPress info.txt document that I had before. So WordPress username, and I'll paste it right in there. And now WordPress password. And in here, we can just type a series of characters randomly. I'll copy that and I'll use it in here. Copy paste, and here we go. Next is your email. Please type a real email address in here. Mine is just luisawinters@gmail.com. And I will allow search engines to index this site. At this point, we can just click on the button that says Install WordPress, and we will be almost done. And here we go. Log in, put in the username and the password, copy, paste, copy, paste. I'll tell it to remember me, and now I'll click on Log In. And there you go. We have been successful installing WordPress. Let me show you our website. You can select, "This is my first website," which is here, top left. And if you press and hold the Control key, that's Command on the Mac, and you click on Visit Site, you will get two tabs. One with the dashboard, which is your administration site for WordPress, and one with the actual website. Change things here and update things here. In the next video, we are going to talk about creating pages on your new WordPress site. See you then.